Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and I hope you guys are doing great. So in my today's video, it's going to be about the Q1 FY27 business update. So this is going to be the sixth episode, and over here I'm going to discuss about two companies, Aelea Commodities and Aimtron Electronics. So we're going to discuss about the recent business updates that they came out with, about their revenue, how well they are doing. So please stay till the end of the video to know all the details and my view on it. So if we first look at it, right? So we'll first go through Aelea Commodities, right? So for Aelea Commodities, the major change that has happened this year, right, is like earlier they used to release their results every half yearly. So now what they have done from Q1 of in FY27, right? They have started releasing their how to say their updates from every quarter. And if you look at their Q1 FY27, right? So they did a revenue of almost 108 crores. And if we compare it, obviously we do not have any numbers from last year Q1 to compare. But if you look at their whole H1 revenue for FY26, it was around 174 crores. So if you look at it, they've almost done close to around 60 to 70% of the revenue in just the first quarter. So that's a good sign. That means the company is running at a very good capacity and utilizing the capacity. At the same time, you know what the management said in the update, right? That for the Q27 also, right? For the Q2 of FY27, the production capacity is already booked for 81%. So they are not worried about for Q2 how the revenue would be. They are very confident about it because of the demand, the orders that they have, right? The production capacity is already booked for quarter two of FY27 also. And for the Q3, right, especially if you look at their business of Aelea Commodities, where they're into nuts and other stuff, right, their H2 is always better than H1. For Q3 also, what the management has updated, right, the capacity is already started filling. The orders have started coming in, and they are very bullish and very confident that it should, it won't be a problem, because if you look at their H1 number last year, they did around 174 crores, but in H2, if you see, they did more than 200 crores. So that should not be a challenge. And if you look from the margins perspective, the management's in the update they said that the margins will still remain healthy like last year, and it can become better. And they also spoke about the geopolitical issues, at the back of it, which there are a lot of logistics issues going on. So the management is very clear that they do not see any major impact. And at the same time, because this issue has been going for so long, right? So they have taken all the precautions by doing proactive planning for their supply chain management, right? So there is no disruption, because majority of their raw materials, especially for their cashews, right, they import it from the African countries. So that is all the updates from the Aelea Commodities. So if the good thing is, like, now they started reporting their numbers from every quarter. That's one good thing. And if we compare the overall revenue, the revenue is growing at quite a good rate, and the capacity is also being very good. Very well utilized, because we need to understand any companies who's into manufacturing or production, right? For them, the most important thing is the capacity utilization of the overall production. See, no matter whether I can produce 10,000 ton, 1 million ton, right? My company can manufacture or produce it. But the point is how many I'm using it, right? Like main capacity utilization. Even if I have 1 million ton of capacity, but if I'm using only 10% of my capacity, I'm producing only 100,000 tons only, and that has a major impact, because even though I am producing 10,000, but I still have to maintain the whole facility, the whole manufacturing facility for the whole 1 million ton, and pay for the electricity on all the workers and everything. So that is actually quite a good thing. And let's see how this capacity production ramps up and how well it goes for the, in the coming quarters. And with the update that they have given, it actually looks quite good. And obviously, let's see when the main results come out, what is the update on their other parts where they're going to use their, the shells of these raw cashews for making as a byproduct and selling it in the market. So that's all from Aelea Commodities, and the update is actually quite good. And if you look at the second company which I'm going to speak about is Aimtron Electronics. I've already made a video on them for their Q4 FY26 results, and they've been doing really quite good. So they are into electronic manufacturing space, but they just do not manufacture. They help them design and manufacture it, right? And they're very into very high niche manufacturing in the products. So if you look at their revenue, right, they also like literally hit the ball out of the park. Their consolidated revenue from year on year, if we compare it, grew by almost 94%. Last year they did a revenue of around 43.3 crores. This year they did a revenue of almost around 84 crores in Q1 of FY27. So this clearly shows, especially in the EMS sector, right, things are really changing, especially for companies who are able to do something unique, do something, how to say, high engineering product and high margin product. It will be very, very beneficial for them. And if you look at for Aimtron, they're going in the right direction. What they, projected also that they're going to grow their revenue in future. It's actually on track. And we can see in Q1 of FY27 alone, right, they grew their revenue by almost 94% to 84 crores. And the management was very, if you look for and from their comments, right, which they gave in the update, right? So the demand is not coming from a single sector. It's coming from all the high growth industry, whether you take it industrial electronics, power and energy, ruggedized electronic, IoT, robotics, BESS, medical technology, aerospace and defense. So the demand is there across the sector. So that is actually one good sign, right? Because see, sometimes what happens, right? For a company, the revenue might increase just because of a certain industry or a certain sector. But once that sector cools down, right, then automatically the revenue might the revenue growth might stops would slow down and could have an impact on the overall business. But over here, if you look for Aimtron, right, for them that's not the issue because the demand is across the sector. Obviously, as the main results will come out, we'll have more information and more update how things are looking in various industries. And if you look from the order book, right, so their order book is also almost doubled to almost close to 604 crores, and that is almost 2x the revenue of FY26 that they do. They did a revenue from close to around 300 crores. Their order book as of now, end of 30th June 2026 stands at 604 crores. So that means this clearly shows that the market or their customers are trusting them and putting more and more orders for them. And let's see how the order book also grows for them. And if you look at their you know how their revenue is distributed, and if you look from the geography wise, right, so domestic contributes to almost 78% of the revenue, and export contributes around 22%. So actually it's actually a very good sign, right, because they're not dependent upon the external market. Majority of their revenue comes from the domestic markets. But at the same time, if we look from a different perspective, then they have an opportunity to export also. If they're able to do something new and different, right? Export market also, they have a lot of opportunities to grow. And if you look from their industry wise, right, how their revenue is distributed at this point of time, right? If you look at this pie chart, right, power contributes to almost 24%, IoT, robotics, drone contribute to around 20%. Telecom, network security contributes to around 26%. Industrials contribute to around 10%. So if we look in this, right, so these are the main four segments: telecom, power, IoT, robotics, drone, and industrial, right? So that means they still have an opportunity, obviously, to grow their business in this major segment where they are doing well. But at the same time, they have an opportunity to grow their business from BMS automotive to medical technology and to battery energy storage system, because we know that the battery and energy storage system is definitely getting a lot of attention. It is growing because one of the main reason is obviously to store the energy, especially from the solar, solar power plants and the solars which are at home, right, to save this electricity which can be used later. So that is also a good opportunity for them if you look from that industry wise. So overall for Aimtron, it's been a really, really good quarter. They've literally hit out of the park, right, by growing their revenue by 94% to 84 crores. So let's wait for the main investor presentation and the whole complete results, so we can go through the income statement and everything, and see if there anything that needs to be looked on, and what will be the further update on the con call. So overall, both good business updates from Aelea Commodities and Aimtron Electronics. If you guys like this video, please do hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and God bless you.